In a news story that I actually missed discussing, Alamo Drafthouse has filed for bankruptcy. And this is unfortunately not terribly surprising. It might, and it's not. It's also not a bad thing per se. I mean, a lot of companies will probably come out of Chapter 11 bankruptcy okay, because I don't think the courts are going to hold too much of the blame on these companies for circumstances that were well beyond their control. However, a few days later, in a story that I also missed, but I want to talk about a little bit more, Alamo also made a very smart move, and I think this might actually be what could, in some ways, save the theaters in a roundabout way. But first of all, hey everyone, this is Kevin, your failed journalist. Welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here and happen to really like this video, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button and ring that bell notification for more videos. So anyway, I don't want to focus too much on the bankruptcy of this. The bankruptcy is Chapter 11. That's a restructuring thing. That means that they plan to continue operating, and who knows? I think they're protecting their assets. They're protecting their assets so that hopefully they can come out of the bankruptcy stronger than before. But they also did something after filing for bankruptcy that I thought was really interesting. They launched an Alamo On Demand VOD service. And here's the thing, a movie theater having a streaming service is not a new thing. AMC Theaters does have AMC On Demand. And Lemley Theaters have been partnering with other streaming services to recommend people stream things and sharing the profits. And I think in a strange way, with this, I think I've seen a way that the movie theaters can properly coexist with streaming and maybe even do some day and date releases, and nobody's feelings are too hurt. So let me explain. So looking at this article from The Verge, Alamo Drafthouse wants to bring the feeling of independent movie rental stores to people in their homes, launching a video-on-demand service completely curated by Alamo Drafthouse employees. Alamo On Demand will include a library of films available to both rent and purchase, with titles selected and curated by the company's programming team. The goal is to, quote, champion innovative and exciting films beyond the 41 locations its theaters exist in around the world. The theater chain partnered with Vista Cinema, a cinema management software company, to launch the service. Alamo Drafthouse is also partnering with studios like Sony Pictures Classics in the coming weeks. It will include tentpole studio releases, independent films, and rare gems. Alamo hopes to usher in new movies while also adhering to the programming staples that have established Alamo Drafthouse as an independent chain, including Weird Wednesdays or Champagne Cinema and Afternoon Tea. As major tentpole releases start to hit theaters, like Tenet and Mulan, which are currently scheduled to open in July, Alamo Drafthouse will augment their in-theater marketing with video rental packages of a director's past films, for example, or a collection of films that specifically influence the upcoming movie. So, that's what they're talking about right now. Like, basically, hey, you know what? Tenet's coming out. Maybe you're interested in Tenet? Yeah, you might want to rent Inception or Insomnia or The Dark Knight, Christopher Nolan's other films, or Memento, which is an awesome movie, by the way. You like Mulan? Why don't you get the original movie? That might be a little bit more difficult because that's Disney, but you know. But here's what I was thinking when I was reading this. It dawned on me, I think the answer to what's going on with the conflict between the studios and the theaters and their video-on-demand things is actually sitting right in front of your faces. I think the future... well, let me backtrack a second. For those of you who aren't aware of what's going on, you probably heard about the whole AMC versus Universal thing. Universal put Trolls World Tour on Premiere Video On Demand. It did very well for them. I don't think it did that well, considering, but I've talked about that in other videos. And basically said in the future they would like to do more day-and-date releases, at which point AMC basically pulled the nuclear option and said we're not going to be showing Universal films on our theaters anymore. By the way, I fully anticipate they will stick to that. But what if there was a good middle ground? And I think movie theaters having their own streaming services in cooperation with NATO, the National Association of Theaters organization, would actually be the perfect, middle of the ground compromise. Like, can you imagine, a future in which, hey, you buy your tickets to a movie on AMC, well, let's use Alamo because they're right here. You buy your tickets to an Alamo movie in theaters, and Alamo sends you movie purchase and rental ideas for previous movies. Okay, that's one way that the studios are making some extra money, and Alamo's getting a cut of that. But what if you took it like a step further? What if after after you see a movie in an Alamo theater, you get a notification like, hey, did you like the movie? If so, pre-order the digital copy at a discounted price for a limited time only. Basically encouraging that second sale right from the get-go. What if it's a day and date release? Well, AMC theaters hates it. All the theaters hate this, of course, but AMC theaters especially hates day and date releases. But let's say there's a Trolls 3, and Universal wanted to say, hey, we're going to do it in theaters and at home at the same time. What if, through a deal with the studios, AMC said, well, how about we do this? What if the theaters, I should say, do this? It's like, have it so that people can buy the movie. And here's the thing. If they go to see, they buy a ticket to the movie, and if they go see the movie in theaters, they get a digital copy for free. Why not? So that would be an incentive. Like, at that point, it's like, hey, you know what? Choose how you want to watch it. If you want to watch it at home, you can. But hey, if you come to the theaters and you see it, we'll give you like 10% off the popcorn, and you get the digital movie for free, and you can watch it again at home. That'd be a great little deal, don't you think? And by doing that, and I think one of the things that the studios would have to agree to is, if the theaters are going to start making these deals, because there are going to be some people who will not come to the theaters because the digital is more convenient. Well, hey, you make this movie exclusive to the movie theater streaming services, and you wait 6 months before they come to your own streaming services, then we've got a deal. Because, at this point, you can get your on-demand stuff. You'll get your bigger cut of the movie, but we'll also keep getting the business. There's a lot of ways this could work out if they do it smartly. There will probably have to be like a lot of contract negotiations, a lot of discussing. But I think if all the movie theaters have their own streaming services and they can, kind of synergize it, where it's like basically people who go see the movie in the theaters either get free digital copy rentals or they get heavily discounted purchases afterwards, that could be a symbiotic relationship that could work out. It would be a new natural evolution of the movie-going experience. Now, it's not one I think I would be doing that much because I still like buying physical media. However, I might consider doing it for a few titles, like if I see a movie, because I like to do movie giveaways for my Patreon and YouTube members. Just to let you know, I give out digital movies all the time if you're a Patreon member. Like, I might, if I really like a movie, but I know that when I buy that physical copy, I'm going to keep the digital copy, I might not mind buying a digital copy of the movie after seeing it in theaters for myself, and then when I buy it on physical, that digital code can then go to my viewers, and that would be a great compromise for me. So then the studio is selling me the movie 3 times at that point. So I'm kind of interested to see where this is going to go and if they can think of something like this, but I think now that I see this, because I never thought Alamo Drafthouse would launch a video-on-demand service, but the way that they describe it's like, yeah, the services can all be specialized, special deals can be made with the studios, and I personally think that, when you do things like, hey, if you buy the digital movie on the service, and they're like, oh, by the way, this is playing in your area. If you go to see it in the theaters, you'll get this digital copy for free. I think there's ways that they could use that to still push people towards the theaters themselves. But we'll have to see exactly what happens. In the meantime, what do you think? Do you agree? Do you disagree? I'd love to know. Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe, and as always, blame responsibly. Have a good one.